Okay, so I would now like to introduce our next speaker, and that is Dr. Zinaida Debenova. She's going to be speaking on the topic of Buddhism in Buryatia, historical adaptation, syncretic practices, and the devotional tradition. So, Zinaida is a junior research fellow at the Institute for Mongolian, Buddhist and Tibetan Studies of the Siberian branch of the Russian Academy of Sciences. She graduated from the Institute of Oriental Studies of Buryat State University with a bachelor's degree in Asian and African Studies in 2016. And between 2016 and 2018, she attended a master's program at the Oriental Faculty of St. Petersburg State University. And from 2018 to 2019, attended a language course at Wuhan Textile University in China. Between 2021 and 2024, she studied a postgraduate program at IMBT SBRES. Zinaida is engaged in the research of folklore traditions of the Mongolian peoples, as well as the study, translation, and introduction into scientific circulation written sources in classical Mongolian script. One of her areas of scientific interest lies in the syncretism of traditional beliefs of Mongolian nomadic peoples and Buddhism in the contemporary world, as reflected in oral and written traditions of the Buryats. She is the author of 9 scientific articles. So please join me in welcoming her.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, of course, I'd like to thank the organizing committee of the conference, the Hong Kong University and Tung Lin Kok Yuen for having us. Special gratitude to Venerable Sikin Hu and Professor Hakias. Thank you, Catherine, for introducing me. So first of all, I would like to express my deepest gratitude for including my presentation into the program because initially I was not supposed to be among the speakers. I was supposed to be just an assistant and interpreter for Professor Irina, but the organizing committee looked through my abstracts and included me into the program. I am very grateful for the opportunity to speak on the subject of Buryatia on an international conference like this one. I will try to be as short as possible. So my topic is, I also have to mention that religious studies or Buddhology is not like the main field of my interest, but I am a Buddhologist, so I study a lot of things related to Buryatia, and Buddhism is such an integral part of Buddhist culture that it is impossible to separate these things. So, these are the questions that I would like to cover today. The first one is who are the Buddhas? Because I believe that there might be people who never heard about us. And what is Buryatia? Second one, I will very, very briefly mention just a few names and a few numbers regarding the situation regarding Buddhism in contemporary Buryatia. And the next 3 points, I will focus how this parts of traditional or pre-Buddhist Buddhist culture influence the way that Buddhism is shaped in Buryatia nowadays. So these are nomadism, ancestor worship, shamanism, of course, and then we will turn to conclusions. So the question number one is, who are the Buddhas? This might be a simple question and a somewhat complicated question because describing Buddhas as like one monolithic ethnicity might not be fully correct because the Buddhas are the different ethnic groups of Northern Mongols who throughout history have been inhabiting and migrating in the territories that are nowadays are the part of Russian Federation, and oftentimes people find it really important to clarify what Buddhas the conversation is going on about at the moment, because as you can see here, all of these are pictures of late 20th, middle 20th or early 20th century. So here you can see the so-called Irkutsk Buddhas, Silinga Buddhas, and Hori Buddhas. So I will explain it a bit further when we go to the next question. And what is crucial in the context of the given presentation is to understand that the Buddhas are numerous ethnic groups, and some researchers say that the process of ethnogenesis, or like consolidating of these groups into one big like ethnos or nationality, has not been completed yet, because some people think that their clan or tribe identity is more important, and some say that it's much more important to identify themselves as Buddhas. And yeah, so it is also important to say that apart from Russia, there are big diasporas of the Buddha people that live in current Mongolia and autonomous region of Inner Mongolia in People's Republic of China. And each 2 years, a big festival named Altargana takes place in these three countries. It takes place either in China, in Russia, or in Mongolia. And here are the pictures from this festival. And as you can see, there are people standing there with flags that have the name of their clan or tribe written on it. So while identifying themselves as Buddhas, they tend to express their like tribal or clan identity as well. And what is Buddhata? It also might be a very simple question, but it's actually not that simple. So if you look here, this is the political map of current borders of Republic of Buryatia. Here, it's gray there, but so this is the border of Mongolia, and the blue one here, this is Republic of Buryatia, the current situation. You can see here Republic of Tver, another Buddhist Republic of Russia. And here is Irkutsk Oblast and Zabaikalsky Krai, or Transbaikalia. So, but if you look here, this is the map of Buryat Mongol Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic that, as of 1925. And you can see that back in Soviet time, the territory was a bit bigger. So there are, these territories now belong to like a neighboring administrative region, and these territories nowadays belong to Irkutsk Oblast. So, and also there is the third term, ethnic Buryatia or historical Buryatia, which is actually larger than both of these. Which is actually larger than both of these maps, because there is like vast territories here that are not included, never been included as the territories of the Buryats. But and also, so nowadays, if you speak about the Buryat people, it's important to know that there are also people that live here, who also live here, and some of them live in Mongolia, and some are even more southern in China. So, and there is also one thing that in my opinion is somewhat important is, you see this is the Lake Baikal, the deepest lake in the world. And this all serves as a sort of a border that divides Buryats into Western Buryats that live here and the Eastern Buryats that live on the eastern shore of the Lake Baikal. And why is this important? Because it is believed that the Western Buddhists have had a relatively less influence of Buddhism because they were further, and because of these territories becoming a part of Russia. So they were under much more Russian and Christian influence rather than Buddhism. Whereas the Eastern Buddhas have been exposed to Buddhism, from especially Mongolian Tibetan Buddhism in a much wider sense. The best example of it is my name. My name is Zinaida, which is a very, very Russian name. It's also a very rare Russian name, and not many ethnic Russian women have it. And here I am, a Buddha, being named a very rare Russian name. So, and also, shamanism is much more prominent among the Western Buddhists that live here. So let's move on. So when it comes to Buddhism in contemporary Buryatia, these are just the names of the main organizations that function today. The first one is the Buddhist Traditional Sangha of Russia. That was mentioned by Professor Irina yesterday. It is like the biggest organization that has close ties with the government. The next one is Buddhist Union. It's a relatively small organization, and they have several Buddhist temples. And the third one is Maidar Association, which is like a very small organization. I think they have like 2 temples, like in the territories of Buryatia. And also there are numerous independent patsans, or like this is the term that we use to describe a Buddhist temple. So in the picture here, you can see this is one of the buildings in Volginsky Datsan, which is the residency of like the main the headquarters of Buddhist Traditional Sangha of Russia, and this is the temple Rinpoche Baksha, which was founded, is an independent temple that was founded by Yelo Rinpoche. When we speak about recent years, there has been like significant interest, the rise of interest in Buddhism, especially in Buryatia, and this can be very clearly seen in the organization of such big events as International Buddhist Forum. It first took place in 2023. It also took place last year, and actually Venerable Sikkim Kung attended this forum. This is how we met. And this year the forum will take place in Elista, which is in Kalmykia, which is also like a Buddhist Republic of Russia. So the first thing that, in my opinion, shaped the way that Buddhism is present today is nomadism. Well, as you might know that Mongolians and a lot of Mongolic-speaking ethnic groups have held nomadic or semi-nomadic pastoralism, which means that they were flexible and moving seasonally. So this meant that Buddhist teaching and Buddhist temples also had to be mobile. So since the Silenga and Hori Buddhas led a primarily nomadic lifestyle in the 17th and 18th centuries, the first temples in Datsan's house in yurts, this is like traditional living place for the Buddhas, migrated along with their parishioners. So this was one of the ways how Buddhism adapted to mobility of the nomads. And it also can be seen in a very sort of pragmatic way that Buddhist rituals were incorporated, because for nomads the most important thing for them is their livestock. So the protective rituals for livestock and good weather were emphasized, and also this way of lifestyle, harsh weather conditions, it makes almost impossible to completely cut off animal produce. So it's extremely hard, but some practitioners still abstain from eating meat, for example, during major Buddhist holidays such as Sagadava, or as it's called in Buddhat Boyantahara, like the rich month. And also Buddhist astrology became extremely popular for navigating different activities, and it can still be seen nowadays. Some people always look at the calendar to check whether it's a good day for a flight, whether it's a good day for cutting your hair. And I do know some people that actually cancel their plans if it's mentioned as a bad day for like a travel or something like this. And so all of this meant that lamas started to serve the same functions as shamans. Even nowadays, it is quite common that if someone in Buryatia sees a lama, they may ask them a question like, so what kind of things do you serve? Like, there are lamas that provide medical advice. There are lamas that can help you, with different kinds of stuff. So Lama as someone who can help you is a monk. Is actually like quite common. So. And the next thing that I called is ancestor worship. So it is important to understand that for Buddhists, for many centuries, the main view of the world was deeply rooted in genealogy. So the person has seen himself as the part of the lineage of his ancestors, and therefore the clans were organized around patrilineal kinship with identity, authority, and ritual obligations grounded in genealogy. Actually, relations within the family regulated a lot of things, like the way you can speak to a certain relative of yours, whether you can ask them for certain things, whether you can wear certain clothes around them. The common practice was the memorization of ancestry across 7 generations, and often represented visually as genealogical trees. And you can see one of the examples here. It's just like a modern version of it. And nowadays, this tradition was lost during the Soviet times, but recently more and more people get interested in it, and therefore they try to find like in some archives the records of their ancestry of the genealogical trees. So how this influenced the Buddhism. So here is a very interesting example that I've found. I would like to actually read it. Okay, I'll do it here. So this record was published by an ethnographer, Konstantin Stukov, in 1865. And it says that he has seen an image in one of the Buddhas. I need to check where exactly it was, but on a full sheet of Chinese paper, a Mongol Buddha artist depicted blue paint and a tree whose trunk split into 2 straight stems right at the base. And the trunk on the right side bears 18 branches adorned with bright green leaves, fantastical Esther-like flowers, and 18 fairly large fruits resembling Chinese red apples, and Mongolian words are inscribed on the fruits. And these are all the names of the ethnic groups, the clans of the Burats. And the left trunk is decorated even more lavishly with lusher greenery, more fantastical flowers, and 11 larger fruits resembling lemons, and each marked with a name. These are also the names of 11 clans of Hori Buddha tribe. And from the root of the tree, the artist extended 11 offshoots in different directions. And remarkably, one of these offshoots bear a shriveled dark yellow fruit with inscriptions Tunka and Alai, nestled among green leaves and with the flowers. As for the remaining 9 offshoots, 6 are covered in greenery, while 3 protrude like chaired branches. And the painting is covered with the image of Buddha Shakyamuni depicted above the tree. Seated in mid-air in a cross-legged posture, the Buddha emits rays, more or less yellow, from himself onto each of the fruits. And the ethnographer also provides the interpretation that was told to him by the owner of this image. And he says that the blue color symbolizes the divine blue Mongols from whom Hori and Silinga clans trace their origin. And the rich greenery and luxurious flowers represent the current flourishing state of the Mongol Buddhists. And the ripe yellow fruits signify the triumph of Shakyamuni's teaching, known under the name Sharashajin, or the yellow religion. And the Mongolian words on the right side, the 18 ones there, they represent these are the names of 18 Silinga clans, and the corresponding names on the left side represent the 11 Hori clans. And as for the barren offshoots, they symbolize Kudara, Barguzin, Alhon, and other Burats who roam the northern Baikal region, the so-called Western Burats that I told you about. And these are pitiable beings wandering in the darkness of profound ignorance. Here we can see how the Buddhist, worldview combines with the genealogical worldview and the way of identifying people through their clan identity. I actually recently finished a dissertation on genealogical folklore of the Buddha people, and I can present here a few of the outcomes that I have. So the Western or Irkutsk Buddhas, they retained shamanic genealogical legends tied to spirits and animistic cosmology, so there are like tons of different motives about how the ancestor of this clan appeared. While Eastern Buddhas like Hori and Serengat clans, they often incorporated these narratives into the historical chronicles. So the chronicles are the pieces of historical literature that had the main goal of describing the history of their clan. And what is interesting is that legendary ancestors, like folklore figures such as Bargu Batar and Hridoy Bargu Batar is considered to be like the father of Bulangati Hirit, of the future founders of ancestors for the future clans and tribes of the Buddhas. They turn into semi-sacred figures, symbolically linking the Hori lineage to both the Mongolian dynasties. So here are the examples. So there is one author, Vandanium Sunav, who says one of the Tibetan king's nobles named Barga Batar Taisun Nayon took the king's youngest son named Burtashano and fled with him to the territories of modern Buryatia. And in another chronicle by the author Yusha Sagiv, the first part of the work under the name The Legend of Mongol Rulers is entirely devoted to the genealogy of the Mongol Khans, and in this text of this chronicle, Genghis Khan's ancestors, Bortechino and Guamaral, who seem to be the divine ancestors of Genghis Khan himself, they are also of Tibetan origin, and this obviously the attempt to sort of put this genealogically important, figures that are important to people and put them into the context of Buddhist teaching. Another thing is that nowadays there are many temples of the Tan that are built by the representatives of certain clans and certain tribes. So, for example, Sartuga Gituski Datsan and Yagazhinsky Datsan, both of these temples were built by the effort of people belonging to certain ethnic groups of the Buddhas. And sometimes people prefer to go to a temple or to lamas that were built they have this sort of almost relative connection with them. And so I did not have much time on shamanism, but I will try to briefly explain it here. So while ancestor worship is usually described as a way, a pre-shamanist way of, conducting of a religious worldview, shamanism followed it. So instead of elders and instead of members of community who controlled important things within the clan, within the families, shamans became important. So who is a shaman? Shaman is a person who is believed to have the ability to establish connections with spirits and with also the spirits of your ancestors as well. And so one of the most interesting things is that this is a silograph that I had that I once translated and we had an article with my colleagues. So this is the text called Precious Chintamani that quickly fulfills aspirations. Basically, this is the description of the Buddhist ritual of honoring the deity of the mountain. So what is interesting is that before that, this mountain had a deity that was worshipped in a shamanistic way, with the sacrifice led in a traditional shamanic way. But with what usually happened with Buddhism is that the deity was said to. It was believed that the deity, after meeting the the teaching of the Buddha also took refuge in the rituals, and now you need to worship him in a Buddhist way. So in the way that it is described here. So these are the pictures from a ritual like this that happens there usually. So I don't have much time. So, and these are my conclusions. So nomadic mobility demanded flexible religious forms, and that manifested themselves with examples that I mentioned. And ancestor worship provided a template for integrating genealogical and cosmological narratives. And shamanic elements were absorbed rather than erased, and producing an enduring religious synthesis. And all of this explains why Buddhism has remained a living tradition in Buryatia into the 21st century. It functions not only as a spiritual path, but also as a cultural marker of Buddha identity, a testament to the capacity of religious traditions to endure by adapting to local worlds. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Zinaida, for the extremely informative presentation.
Yeah, I joined, it was very interesting, overview of Buddhism and shamanism in Buryatia. I have two things, one is Tibetan Buddhism in Buryatia exclusively Gelugpa, or do you have also other religious denominations like Kok Yuen or Nyingma? And also, do you have Bonpos, for example, in Buryatia? And the second one was in your last slide, it said shamanism, and they are all dressed a little bit like monks.
No, I meant the the influence of shamanism, because this is the abo is this is traditional a festival, something that takes place every year, and this was a very shamanistic ritual that nowadays after that Buddhists adapted, and now it looks like this. Yeah.
Well, you could have thought of Tibetan Buddhists as civilized shamans, as Samuel had written in his book, but it's obviously something else. But my first question, are there Kok Yuen and Nyingma and so on?
Yeah. Well, I guess this question was answered by Professor Irina yesterday. While Tibetan Mongolian Buddhism is traditional and classical way, that it's widespread, there are the teachers of Nyingma school and Gelugpa and other schools as well. I might not be traditionally. Probably not. So I think that traditionally, only Gelug, yes.
No, Kok Yuen and Nyingma, they are now, but they
Well, of course, now everything's globalized.
Yeah, those are later, basically modern.
Yeah.
17th century is Gelug.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I have a question about this last image as well. Would I be right in thinking that the obor is this mound? I mean, obor, it refers to peaked.
It is the pile of stones that is put onto each other. But sometimes when you speak about it, you can also say abo in a way that this is a ritual. It's written here that it's abo tahilak, the procedure itself, the ritual. But when you speak about it, yes, exactly, this is the pile of stones. Yeah.
And just historically speaking, this is a pre-Buddhist tradition in the region.
Yes, it was.
And how did the Buddhists then relate to this tradition? Did they seek to redefine it as a stupa, or?
Yes, quite often, based on the ethnographic materials that I have seen, it is quite often that not too far from a place of abo, there was a small, a stupa placed there, so to signify that this is also a place of Buddhist worship. So it's actually, it was very common.
I was very surprised to learn that they trace the ancestry of Genghis Khan to then Tibetan rulers, and I'm just wondering how that fits into the sort of the Buryat Mongol worldview, because I kind of assume that this would be upsetting to many Mongolians. This idea that. Because there's nothing more Mongolian than Genghis Khan, and then he has Tibetan ancestry. How does that fit into the general worldview, you think?
Yeah, exactly. So I believe that Buddhism had such a big influence on both the Mongolians and both the and other Mongolic peoples, that it sort of seemed for true believers, it seemed very obvious. And a lot of researchers say that this was like a real tendency, like a policy to identify themselves as a part of a bigger Tibetan Buddhist world. So it was not really upsetting. It was quite the opposite. It was like making them cooler,
sort of Buddhicizing Genghis Khan.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And this is very prominent, especially in Hori chronicles. And Hori Buryats are the ones that are the most east and that are closest to Mongolia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we've got time for one more question.
Thank you. Oh, so maybe I'm going a little bit off topic here. I'm just curious, are you aware of any interactions between the Buryats and the Manchurians in China?
Interactions?
Yes.
Historical interactions?
Correct.
Well, Manchurians, you mean like the Qing dynasty,
yes, correct.
Right? Yes, maybe I might not be really, well aware of this in the context of history, but when it comes to, the Buryats who live in China, in Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, I think you can say this for sure. Because the Inner Mongolians and the Xinjiang Buryats that I know, they quite often say that they definitely had certain interactions with the Manchurians, and they would like to study Manchurian to clarify certain aspects of the history. So well, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let's give Zinaida another round of applause for her great presentation.